Now let's talk about another concept of food quality. It's similar to concept of food safety as we earlier discussed. So this is different from food safety, um, and it is the extent to which it meets all the established requirement for a food. Um, if we meet all the requirements that are established for a certain food product by any means, by the consumer or by the producer or by the regulatory authority, if those requirements are met, then food is called as a good quality food. And it must have food safety in it as well, because it is not possible to have a good quality food when it is not safe. But on the other hand, in certain cases, we might come up with a bad quality food product which is safe. So that can be a safe product, but the quality is not good because it might not meet certain established requirement. For example, its color or flavor or viscosity. These appearances are not good enough, and that product would not be considered as a good quality product. But on the other hand, it might not have any undesirable pathogen, or it might not have any harm inherent to this food product. So this is the basic difference between food safety and food quality. For example, if you talk about more about this food quality concepts, there might be certain things. For example, standardized food. Um, the different foods would have set standards. If the food meets all those standards, then it would be called as a quality food product. If it does not meet those standards, it would not be called as a good quality food product. For example, some of the examples are when you see their canned food products, they would mention their weight on that, the gross weight or the um, uh, total weight of the product. So if we or the fill of the container, these things are mentioned on the label. If the product inside the can meets all these requirements, it is called as a good quality product. Similarly, the amount of one or more ingredient that is claimed to be present in the food, if it's present, the quality is good because it meets the requirement. If it's otherwise, the product quality is supposed to be not good. Appearance, size, shape, color, flavor, texture, and similarly other things. For example, viscosity, shelf life, stability, fitness to be consumed for human being, adulteration, packaging, labeling. These are all factors, or these are all the requirements that have to be met. And these requirements, when they are met, we would say that the product is of good quality. When there is any defect in these requirements, or whenever any of the breach of these requirements is observed, the quality of food, of course, would go down. So meeting the food quality requirements, it might be a very long list of requirements that may be listed, and when we have to say that we meet all these listed requirements or not. Um, Food laws and regulation would cover many of these quality characteristics. Not all of them, but many of them would be covered by the food law. For example, uh, there might be certain regulatory requirements for a food product to be met. So the regulatory agency might describe specific amount of food, or specific weight of food, or the gross weight of food, or net quantity of food, right, or presence or absence of certain things which are claimed on the label. So the regulatory authority would control these factors, and if we meet those, the producer meets those requirements, the product is called as a good quality food product. Otherwise, it might come under misrepresentation or fraud or mislabeling that can be punishable by the regulatory authority of any country. And similarly, it is possible that the food is spoiled. It might have higher load of spoilage microorganisms. The food is spoiling, but it does not produce anything which is harmful. Although the appearance is not good, the food has been spoiled, but it does not have anything that can cause disease or which is harmful. The food is safe because it doesn't have any harmful compound or additive or microorganism in it. But because it is spoiled, it would be of low quality. So as I earlier said, that it is possible that the food is safe but it is low quality, but it is not possible to have a good quality food unless it is safe. So food safety is a mandatory thing, and food quality is something that can be there even in case of safe food as well. It can be compromised. The government agencies also decide many of these variables, but at the end it's the consumer or the end user that would rate the quality of end product. So they would have their own requirements regarding the preference of any food or any desirable traits within the food, and it would be variable from one person to another person. So ultimately the consumer is the major decision maker who would decide whether the quality of food is good or good enough or not. So that is why when we develop food products, in the start we have to take into account the consumer or the end user, and we have to take and sort their opinions, and we have to develop kind of products which are actually liked by the consumer. So there might be a lot of characteristics, or there might be a lot of criteria that is actually judged by the end user. It must be incorporated in the initial product when it is produced in the factory, so that it is considered to be a good quality product by the end user. Because if they approve this as a good quality product, it means there will be more selling of that product would be possible, and there would be more profit making out of this, which is of course the desirable outcome for every producer of a food product. So this was the concept of food quality and how it differs from food safety, and what are the parameters or what are the conditions of food quality, good quality food that has to be met before we can actually classify it food as a good quality food or otherwise.